One of the questions I see all the time as someone who really specializes in Kartra is how do I get my survey results sent to me, really, or your audience, as a Kartra user using the Kartra survey feature? And I'm going to show you how to do it in this video. It takes a couple steps, but ride with me and I will show you how you can do that right here in this video. So we're starting with a Kartra survey. You can head to Kartra surveys through the survey option on the left-hand side of your screen. And then you can go into traditional survey, scored quiz, or personality quiz. For this example, I'm just going to use the traditional quiz here. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm just going to put it in whichever category that it belongs in. From here, you will start to create the survey that this is where you will design your questions. And when you create your questions, this is the first step that you need to do. You can use any of these options here when you write your question, write your optional extra answer, but when you go into the answers portion, this is where you will make the adjustments. So you can choose whether this is mandatory, you can choose what your options are. And the super important part about this here is add question to lead's profile. First, we need to turn this on. Second, we need to give it a custom field identifier. And this will act as your dynamic field that you use. So I'm going to call this test 1, Q1, and then actually Q01 for ordering and sorting, and then name of question. What I'm also going to do here is I'm going to copy this custom field identifier and I'm going to put it in my notepad. When I put this in my notepad, I'm just going to wrap it in curly brackets, and this is going to save me from looking it up in a little bit. So pull this note off to the side. You can put it in a Google Doc, you can put it in a notepad, you can put it wherever, but I like to copy it from here so I know exactly what I'm doing. And then you still have to give this a brief question here and go ahead and apply. Now, if you create a question and you don't give it a custom field identifier when you're creating the question and you exit out of this survey and then you come back and you want to add it later, you will have to recreate the question. Keep that in mind as you're going through these steps. So go through all of these, create your questions, make note of the dynamic fields that you gave them, wrap them in curly brackets in a document that you can refer back to, and then let's finish out the survey by completing everything else. Once you're finished with your survey, you can go ahead and hit save and exit here. And I'm going to show you a couple options as you go through it. So first things first, you can choose to send a confirmation email to your audience. Now this one goes to the person taking the quiz. Maybe you want to send them their quiz results. So you can customize this email however you like. And at the bottom, you have an area for custom fields. And we gave that the custom field of, what did I name this one? Test 1Q, we named, this was our question that we used, and we have it down here, so we can copy that and put that here. You answered this, and then that will automatically fill in the answer, and you can do this for all of the questions. If you're doing this with something like a test, you can have something like, here's the question, the correct answer, and here's what you said your answer was, so they could get their answers also. You can do this in a sequence too. I'll show you that in just a second. So let's move this so we can move forward here. So what we've done is we have created the survey, we have created our dynamic fields. If you want your answers to also show up in a spreadsheet, you will need to assign a tag to them. I'm going to show you that in this video too. I just made this video longer than I intended to. So let's go ahead and just add a tag here really quick. Perfect. And you can go through and complete whatever other lists or sequences or automations that you need from here. Now, to get yourself the answers to the quiz that they took, we need to navigate ourselves over into email notifications. Once you're in email notifications, hit into your team, and everybody's order here appears different, so I just usually search for survey. And then in either of these areas, you have lead completes a survey or lead completes an anonymous survey. So choose whichever one applies to you. And then we can edit this message again with the dynamic fields. This message is the same regardless of whatever survey that gets completed. Your first thing you'll need to do is choose what survey. So we are talking about this test survey, and I want it sent to me. You can send it to multiple people on your team, or you can choose any survey sent to you, but just know that this message is the same regardless of which test or survey that they take. So now you can come down here and do the same thing that we did in that confirmation message and say something like, here are the answers. Number 1, dynamic field. You can come down here and do the dynamic fields again, but here's where this notepad comes in, because I can copy and I can paste it just right in there, and then it's super quick and super easy for me to fill out this notification here. We're almost there. So now you've got an email survey to your audience, doing it in confirmation messages, to you doing it in email notifications, but I do want to give you one more way that you can deliver the answers to your participants. This way to get it to your audience would be in sequences. So if you head in to create a new sequence, you can give that sequence a name. Now, anytime I'm recommending how you name your sequences, name your sequence, this top one, name it anything you want. So we're gonna call it survey results. And the description would be what your audience can see and what they can unsubscribe from. So this is going to be something that is going to be a little more specific. Something that people are going to recognize and pay attention to. In your starting rule that you're going to create, it's actually over in automations, but when you go to create a new automation, you are going to say lead completes survey, and then you have your survey that you created that you can send this to subscribe them to the sequence. From here, the same thing that we've done twice already, and then you would fill in the content in this email just the same way that you have before, using the custom fields or using the note that you already have and using those dynamic fields. As with any of these emails and anytime, I always recommend sending a test email to make sure that your emails look great and your dynamic fields populate properly. Since you're doing this as a survey and sending notifications from it, I would actually still go through it as an audience member, take it for real, and then get those answers sent out to make sure that your dynamic fields are populating properly. All right, one more in surveys, and then I promise I'm done with this. It's how to add those survey results to a spreadsheet, something like a Google Doc, and we're going to do that with the assistance of Zapier. So one of the reasons why I think tags in Kartra are so important to use is sometimes you need a tag to start an automation, especially if you're using something like Zapier to automate things. So if you hit the button up here to create a new Zap, and you're looking for your trigger to be from Kartra, and that trigger event that you're looking for is a survey. And what you'll notice here is that completes the survey is not a trigger action for a Zap. So part of why I will always suggest having a tag in Kartra also for things is you can start a Zap from when a lead is assigned a tag. And that tag that we set when we configured it is the starting rule. So when I go to do mine, I know I put that in no tag in particular, and I have that test tag that I have here. From here, it's not going to show me that I have anybody, but then I can populate that information into filling a Google Sheet from this information that's here, because now the system knows what to look for. So wrap it all up. How to fill out your survey. So your survey actually adds the information to the audience's profile. Then how you would send your audience a notification that their survey answers have been sent and what their answers were. You can do that 2 ways, through sequences or through the confirmation email. How to send you a notification that a survey has completed with the survey answers. Do that in email notifications. And if you want to include that survey information into a Google Sheet, maybe you're looking to crunch the data, you can do that through Zapier. Have a great one. Let me know what questions you have in the comments below.